Hey guys, Kyle here, and today I wanted to take a moment to spread awareness of a strange issue with the Game Boy Color, particularly with modded ones like this one that have been reshelled. The issue I've noticed happens on Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, but it could very well be happening on other games. So this video is more or less a warning to those who may be new to modding the Game Boy Color. And so you might recognize like this Game Boy Color here is the modded one from my recent tutorial video showing how to backlight the Game Boy Color using BennVenn's new Freckle Shack backlight mod. So this, just to be upfront, this issue is not related to the mod whatsoever. This is purely just a Game Boy hardware issue, not with the mod hardware, because it doesn't interface any differently with the hardware than the original LCD screen does. There's no soldering or anything and no extra components it taps into to power it. If you haven't seen the tutorial yet, I've put a link to it in the description below showing how to backlight the Game Boy Color with BennVenn's brand new Freckle Shack kit. So anyways, rather than describe the bug, I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to pop the game in and we're going to load up my save game. So here we go. Start the game. There we go. So here I am in town. Let me actually zoom in a little bit so I can show you a little bit better. And focus. There we go. So here I am in town, and so I'm swinging the sword and just pressing the B button to do that. I'm actually going to hold down and mash these buttons on the D-pad. And you'll notice Link is gone. Link disappears. His sprite is completely gone. I don't know how that works, but he comes back if you go into a building anywhere. So now let's go back out here and let's do it again. Try not to hit the dog. So hold down all the buttons, just so I can show you. Holding them down and mashing them around and pressing the B button, and he's gone. Oops, I just got hit by the dog again. So this is just a really, really strange issue that I've never noticed on the Game Boy Color before. And so that made me wonder what exactly causes this. Let me actually show you another part of this too. I'm going to hold down all these buttons and mash them and hold the B button and charge the sword and let go, and he's going to jump around the screen. Just like that. So let me just do that again in case you missed it. So I don't know what is happening with the sprite information in this game, specifically with Link's sprite, but it's really weird. So now I'm going to show you what happens on a completely unmodded Game Boy Color. So I'm going to pop it into this system here. This is actually the Game Boy Color I grew up with, the one from my childhood, that got me started with all this modding. So let's load here. I'll try to show you as best I can on this non-backlit screen. So here I am in town again, same save spot. I'm going to swing the sword, mash the D-pad, and nothing is happening. Trying to hold down the buttons in different directions, and he's not disappearing. So what's really going on here? So to show you that, I have another system here that is mostly unmodded except for this D-pad. The button itself here is out of a shell kit that I got off of eBay, particularly this one, and it's pretty much the same as most other shell kits that you get for the Game Boy Color online. So the only difference is this button. There's no other difference hardware-wise in this Game Boy Color. So let's boot this up, and I'm just going to show you what's going on here. Start the game, go into the save spot, and so you can see there's no backlit screen, nothing in here, and now I'm going to hold down these buttons and mash them. I'm going to press the B button, and there he goes. Link is gone. His sprite disappeared. So that didn't happen on the original Game Boy Color here, the unmodded one that I've got. It only happens on ones where the D-pad is different. So why is that? So if you look at an original D-pad, you'll notice that it's got this dimple underneath on the bottom here. That basically allows it to rock back and forth and not press more than 2 directions at the same time. So you can go left, right, up, down, or you can go diagonally directions and press 2 buttons at a time doing that. So this dimple mainly controls your ability to not press more than 2 directions on this pad at the same time. So now let's compare that to an aftermarket one, like this orange one here, which is obviously aftermarket because Nintendo didn't make orange ones. So this one has the dimple as well, but you'll notice it's actually slightly smaller. It isn't as rounded or as deep as the other one is. So what that means is that on this D-pad and other aftermarket D-pads like it, you can actually press all 4 directions at the same time. So it's not what's intended to happen on the Game Boy Color, but these aftermarket D-pads, for some reason, are not made to the same spec as the real ones. So Nintendo probably very specifically designed this D-pad for that reason, knowing that their hardware couldn't take that input. They're very specific, they're very purposeful with their product designs, so that's why I imagine that they've made this like that. So on the flip side of things, the letter that came with the aftermarket shell actually specifically states, use the buttons that are included with the kit, do not use parts from your original system since they vary slightly in size and won't fit properly. That is sort of kind of true, not really. I haven't really noticed any super bad size differences between these different buttons and such, whether they use the original or the aftermarket ones. I've tried them both and they all seem to fit fine, to fit the same. Now you may notice differences in other shells that you purchase online since they're not all created the same, but in my experience these buttons are pretty much identical and can be used and fit just the same way as the real thing. So this is a good time to talk about the Freckle Shack. So let me zoom this out here and bring this system into focus. So basically with this, with the Freckle Shack kit, the coolest thing about this probably is that you can reopen the system up again. It's not glued together, making it easy to go back in there and fix things or remove dust from inside the screen if for some reason something gets in there, or to put different colored buttons in there. Whatever you want to do to modify this thing or to work on it, or if something fails or breaks, you can open it up again. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to stick the original buttons back into this system. So that's the A and B buttons, the power switch, the IR shield, D-pad, start and select buttons. I'm going to do them all. So let's get started on that. And there you are, guys. With the original buttons installed now, input should now work the same on this modded Game Boy Color as it works on my original unmodded one. So let's test this out with Zelda again. Take out the cartridge here, plug it into this one. Let's power it up. Let's see what happens. Let's zoom in here. All right. Load up the game, and here we are. So we're back in the game, mashing the buttons, mashing all 4 directions, and just to prove it, let me zoom out here just a little bit just to show you. So I'm mashing all of the buttons, and trying to hold them down, and I can't hold all 4 directions down anymore. So this looks like it fixed the issue. This no longer happens. So anyways, I just wanted to put this information out there just for anyone interested in Game Boy Color modding. This is definitely a very interesting discovery to stumble upon. So thankfully though, this issue is a pretty easy fix. I'm grateful for BennVenn's mod where I can just open this back up again and get at all the components that I needed to in order to fix this. So if you liked this video, please click the like button below and consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate the support. Also keep an eye out for my next video podcast actually coming out sometime this week. In it, I'll be talking about the Freckle Shack mod, this mod specifically, and addressing a lot of people's questions about BennVenn's new kit. So anyways, guys, thanks again so much for watching. You guys stay awesome, and I'll see you in my next video.